Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the market is kind of boring today, believe it or not. I believe that we have the greatest setup for a mega surge that we've probably ever had right now. So I'm fine with that. Pull back all you want. So let's go through things. Kraken has announced that the SEC has agreed to drop its lawsuit against the cryptocurrency exchange. So now Kraken has been dropped. I think you only have a couple left. I think Bittrex might be one of them. And then you've got, guess who? Ripple. That's all that's left, folks. Now, the Bitcoin maxis are having a horrible time with all of this. And I think they're about to find out, if they haven't already, that it's time to leave all their maxi talk behind. This is Anthony Pompliano. Other countries outside the United States are focused on acquiring Bitcoin. They don't see any altcoins having national importance. Now, I was just watching I should have played it here, but I was just watching a whistleblower from the Biden administration on the Patrick Bet-David show, and she was saying, what she was saying is that all of the influencers who were like pro-Biden, she didn't say some, she said all of them are paid. Well, I can tell you, there's no doubt in my mind that 95% of of the Bitcoin maxi crypto influencers are paid for too. I can't prove it. I'm just saying I've always thought it, because it's never made any sense to me. The only thing that makes sense is that they're compensated to push the Bitcoin narrative. I'm not saying any one particular one is paid. I'm just saying I've always felt like it. Anthony Pompliano back in August 2017 completely understood what you and I understand about XRP, and then all of a sudden he switched at the same time that CNBC switched. You remember, they were teaching you how to buy XRP, and then all of a sudden they stopped and went to nothing but Bitcoin and Ethereum for years, and and if they referred to XRP, they would call it Ripple by design. I've seen this movie. I've been watching it for years now, and it's obvious what's been going on. But this was what Anthony Pompliano thought before all of that started. If you think Bitcoin went on a tear once CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait until they discover Ripple, XRP. And he just all of a sudden, and then for the last 5 years, he can't figure out XRP. He understands Ripple. He just can't figure out he doesn't understand XRP. Same exact narrative that Mike Novogratz had been going with. Then you got this. This is Bloomberg. They've been towing the Bitcoin Ethereum line for years too. The uncomfortable reality of Trump's inclusion of XRP and ADA. So I restated the truth. The uncomfortable truth about a level playing field. When did a real free market become uncomfortable? And then Neatsbucks says in Pomp's newsletter today, he said, how did the President of the United States get swindled into announcing a shitcoin fund? And the world is not going to be run on XRP or ADA. People don't use those assets right now in the same way they use Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin. Again, there's nothing strategic about this. Well, guess what? Bitcoin and Ethereum have had a regulatory free pass. Solana has been pumped the same way that they have over the last 2 years. And why? Because the VC pump gang's behind it. That's how these guys have been playing the game all this time. Then you've got Cameron Winklevoss. While I'm excited about the strategic reserve, I was surprised by the digital assets being contemplated. Bitcoin is the only asset that meets the bar for store value reserve asset. Maybe Ethereum. Digital gold and digital oil. No. Digital gold and digital oil are XRP and XLM, folks. And always have been, which mirrors Americans' physical reserves of gold, Fort Knox, and oil, strategic petroleum reserve. It's possible other assets could make the grade in the future, but it's a very high bar. Well, if you've got the benefit of a regulatory monopoly for all these years, and then you've got the media marketing machine with probably paid influencers saying nothing but Bitcoin and Ethereum, where do you think the capital is going to flow? That's what these people have been up to. And I said, I corrected him, Bitcoin and Ethereum have had a regulatory monopoly until now. We haven't seen the real market making these conclusions irrelevant. And then his brother, Tyler Winklevoss. I have nothing against XRP Sol. Oh, really? I have nothing against XRP Solar ADA, but I do not think they are suitable for a strategic reserve. Only one digital asset in the world is right now meets the bar, and that digital asset is Bitcoin. These guys are talking their book, folks. Many of these assets are listed for trading on Gemini and meet our rigorous listing policy. They don't meet your political listing qualities. That's the problem. Your ideological listing qualities. That's been the problem. But with respect to a strategic reserve, it is another standard. An asset needs to be hard money that is proven store of value. Well, what would have been the proven store of value without the regulatory capture of XRP? And without the media, the Bitcoin marketing machine, and without the paid influencers and all the stuff, okay? What would have been the number one asset? What had overtaken Ethereum in 2018? What were they worried about overtaking Bitcoin, which set all the regulatory capture and stuff in motion, and the Ethereum free pass speech? And then you've got Bloomberg, they're towing the line.
Okay, let's move on to the strategic cryptocurrency reserve that was announced or declared, I guess, by U.S. President Donald Trump on the weekend. It resulted in a big surge in the price of Bitcoin, the price of Ether as well. But there's been controversy over the inclusion of 3 lesser-known digital tokens in that reserve. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part here. You definitely saw a lot of optimism on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening when this post went out and the cryptocurrency market did move a decent amount. Now you are seeing a bit of a pullback, with these 3 lesser known cryptocurrencies, essentially XRP, SOL, and ADA. I think there is a little bit of concern as to really how much does this move the needle if Trump is posting saying that he would like to add these 3 tokens to the strategic crypto reserve. How much does it actually help the industry or the asset class or the market in and of itself? And I think that's where you're seeing that skepticism in the market today. All 3 of these tokens have dropped instead of rallying, which is normally what we would see. I think I'm also interested to find out, why did Trump post this on Sunday afternoon? Did he do it because he has seen the sell-off in crypto in the last month? Crypto posting, Bitcoin posting its worst month since 2022, or is there another reason behind it? Is he moving ahead with the strategic crypto reserve? A lot of things in the background that we may not know, but all you can do is take a look at what.
Okay, have you noticed that the same media outlets that lied to you about politics for the last 4 years are the same ones, and I'm talking about to the letter, they're the same ones that have been promoting Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. I find that very interesting. And then of CNBC, they just can't figure it out either. And I put up here, after all these years of CNBC marketing Bitcoin and Ethereum after regulatory capture of the rest of the industry, Bill Hinman free pass for Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are now worried about Trump picking favorites. Can't make this stuff up, folks.
President Trump announcing the creation of a strategic crypto reserve. Mackenzie Sagalos joins us now with all the details. Mackenzie, it's interesting because in this Truth Social post over the weekend, he cited his January executive order, and that seemed to ignite the rally.
No, it did. And this is really building upon what he said in January. He says that this new national crypto reserve will include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a trio of high volatility tokens, Solana, XRP, and Cardano. He's calling it a move to elevate the industry after what the president described as years of corrupt attacks under the Biden administration. Now, unlike traditional reserves of gold, petroleum, or grain, commodities accumulated for strategic security, this reserve would more closely resemble an active portfolio of speculative assets. The shift in language from stockpile to reserve also suggests the U.S. may actively acquire and manage cryptocurrencies rather than just holding seized tokens. Now, the crypto market, coming off its worst month since 2022, reacted instantly. Bitcoin and Ethereum surged over 10%, while Cardano spiked as much as 70%. Now, prices are coming back down, but still, we're seeing investors getting back into long positions. And attention now really turns to Friday's first ever White House Crypto Summit, where the president, along with his crypto czar, David Sachs, regulators, and industry leaders will talk next steps. We'll be watching to see whether the president shares a buying strategy or plans to push this through without congressional approval. Melissa?
Interesting that the notion of an active portfolio, Mackenzie, because then, of course, somebody needs to be hired to manage this. So basically, you've got a portfolio manager for crypto under the authority of the U.S. government.
And that's one of the biggest concerns here, that the government would be picking favorites. And yes, the choice of Cardano and Solana.
They had no problem when the government picked favorites with Bitcoin and Ethereum. They had no problem marketing that for almost a decade.
It came as a bit of a surprise. At the end of the day, these 5 tokens that are in this reserve are on the top 10 market cap list. And Cardano and Solana offer faster and cheaper alternatives than Bitcoin and Ethereum with respect to facilitating payments. The president also has a connection to both of those blockchains. Solana is the blockchain that he used to build his meme token. Meanwhile, you've got XRP. Ripple is the team behind that token. They donated $5 million in the XRP token to Trump's inaugural fund. So he has ties to some of these tokens that we're seeing show up here.
Yeah, but the Bitcoin lobby, they didn't do anything. They didn't influence Trump at all, right? Ryan Zagone from Ripple back in I think this was back in 2019. He called it. This is what you've been living through. This is the big lie that's been going on in crypto.
Right. You might still use proof of work.
Great. But I invite Ryan and Desiree. I don't know if you would like to comment on this as well. But Ryan, go ahead.
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work.
Proof of work.
Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Let him finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption comes back to policy. The policy uncertainty around some of the assets has limited adoption, particularly here in the US. And I'm speaking from Ripple and XRP because we use that.
And if you don't think these Bitcoin maxis are fully aware of this was a plan.
That asset, because it's a half a cent per payment, it's basically free. It scales and it's efficient. To 1,500 transactions a second at nearly no energy burn. So we're at a point today where there are real solutions to all of these challenges that already exist. Policies become the challenge. And we heard on the first panel that around centralization on China, and this is going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China. Today, the policy certainty in the US exists for Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite the fact those are China-controlled platforms. So activity goes to those platforms. What we need to do from a policy perspective in the US is look at the places where there are uncertainty. And one place, I'm speaking directly for me here, is XRP, where it looks like Bitcoin. It's decentralized, it's open source. We have 7% of the validation power on that, rather small in there. Grouping or giving clarity to those ones that are very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that have the same characteristics and should be classified the same way. And then we're creating a level playing field across all the cryptos. I'm not anti-Bitcoin or anti-Ethereum by any means. I think there's a lot of great potential.
I'm not either. We just wanted a level playing field.
Breakthrough there. But we need to have a level playing field so the market can pick which ones they want to use and not be, as today they are, hindered by regulatory uncertainty.
Bingo. It took all these years to get it. And I want to show you, of all the people I thought would have capitulated, I never expected this. This is from CNBC this morning.
Were you surprised that in the announcement over the weekend, the president mentioned other smaller coins like XRP, Solana, and Cardano, as well as Bitcoin for the strategic?
This guy looks about as deflated as I've ever seen him.
Crypto fund?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think there's no way to interpret this other than this is bullish for Bitcoin and is bullish for the entire U.S. crypto industry. You know, there are conservatives that view the right path forward as just a Bitcoin-only policy because Bitcoin is a commodity, an asset without an issue or a neutral asset, and there's no controversy. But the president's adopted a more liberal economic policy and
no controversy. I'll give you controversy. How about before Satoshi's video where Homeland Security met with him. How about that for that's the biggest controversy in the whole space that nobody will talk about.
And that's his right. He's president of the United States.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you would have preferred it, though, if it was a Bitcoin-only fund.
You know, I believe that the best thing for the country is to move forward with an enlightened, progressive policy toward digital assets. I think it's worth $100 trillion to the United States, and ultimately there's 4 different assets that people need to come to grips with. A digital commodity like Bitcoin, an asset without an issuer backed by digital power. A digital currency like a stable coin backed by a fiat currency equivalent. A digital security, an asset with an issuer backed by a stock or a bond so we can tokenize Wall Street. And then a digital token, which is an asset with an issuer that's backed by digital utility. I think
this guy, I've never heard him acknowledge utility tokens, which Bitcoin is not.
Everybody's trying to come to grips with that taxonomy, and as the market gets more educated, we're going to see more progressive, constructive policy engagement.
That, my friends, is about as much capitulation as you could possibly get. Now, in DAIXRP.com, I have so much more. There's so much to cover today. You can go to DAIXRP.com to join through the Patreon, or you can go click below this YouTube video and click the join button, and you can join the group through that. We do extended videos with no advertising if that's your thing. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.